morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be in this wide, wide world. This is By Hook or By Needles, and my name is Sam. And this is a video directed to the Spoonie Stitcher, Shannon, who sort of put out a bit of a challenge, I guess, for us as content creators, and indeed anybody who knits or crochets at home and who doesn't produce content, to put in, comments in, the videos, as to what sorts of things as a crafter would you never do. And that got me thinking, and I thought, well, there's not a lot, I didn't think, that I wouldn't tackle, or that I don't mind tackling. I mean, I'll pretty much have a go at anything. I've looked at hairpin lace this year, or last year, sorry. I'll probably do a little bit more of that again this year, because I really did quite enjoy that, and I think it's got a lot of uses and can be very, very useful. I've made ponchos, socks, maybe a shawl, I can't remember, scarves, amigurumi, dishcloths, though I don't know whether I've actually shown those yet. But yeah, there's not a lot that I wouldn't do, but I do agree with her on a few things. I don't think I would do a mood hat, scarf, or whatever. Kind of agree with her. Why would you want to remind yourself about the bad days in your life? But then again, as she also said, for some people that could be very good therapy. So I kind of get why, yeah, you could benefit from that sort of thing. Especially if you were doing one, I suppose, every month or so or whatever, and you could sort of see the mood, the color improving, perhaps. And then you could sort of see, wow, my mood's improving over the year. That could be beneficial for a lot of people. But it's not something I would make myself. One thing you'll never see me do on this channel, there's a few things, but one of the things is arm knitting. Don't see the point. Never really seen the point. Not to say if you do it and enjoy it, great. Anything people do and enjoy, they should do and enjoy. Another thing I will never do on this channel is tell you how you should knit or how you should crochet. You'll never hear me say, if you're doing it this way, you're doing it wrong. Or if you're doing it that way, you're doing it wrong. I might say, this is the preferred way for most people, or, whatever, but you're never going to hear me say, you should be doing it this way. If you're not doing it this way, you're doing it wrong. Because there is no wrong way as far as I'm concerned with knitting or crocheting or with any fibre art, provided you're enjoying yourself, you're happy with your end product, and you're not causing yourself any discomfort or pain with the when you're doing the activity in the fashion you're doing the activity. So, you won't ever catch me saying, no, don't do it. It's like I knit English style, and I can't tell you how many times I've had people tell me I should knit continental. Yeah, probably should, but I can't. And when you knit in public and you have people coming up to you, like in doctor's surgery, saying, you should knit continental, it's a lot faster and easier and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh dear, and it's the only time I want to get really aggressive and punch someone in the face. No, I don't. I don't really. I'm lying. I could never hit anybody. But I do get really frustrated when people come up to me and say, you should knit continental. It's a lot easier. Well, don't assume that I've never ever tried it. And don't assume that, you know, I can knit faster by doing continental. I've actually tried continental, and I've really tried to stick with it. And in fact, a few of my tutorials, I've shown beginners, look, this is how you can knit continental. This is how a continental knitter would knit the purl stitch or the knit stitch. So I'm not adverse to showing people how continental works. I can do that on a very small scale. But if you ask me, if you said, look, here's a project, I'm giving you the yarn, I'm giving you the pattern, make it, but you've got to do it continental, I'd probably say there's no point, because the tension would be absolutely horrendous. It would be so tight you wouldn't be able to slide the needle through the loops. It would take so long, it would do my head in. Yeah, because I've tried. I have really tried continental. And like I say, I can do it on really slowly on a small scale level to show an example to new beginners, knitters, that, you know, there is this option out there. This is not an option I have chosen for these reasons, but, you know, yeah. So, but you'll never catch me saying you shouldn't do continental, or you should only knit English style. I remember my mum, when she saw me knitting for the first time, she was like, how can you knit like that? I said, I don't know, but I don't mind it. I'm doing the way I like to knit. So, you know, that was that. I think she does the around the neck. I think that's Portuguese. Or we have a little, some people have a little clip as well, or a pin, and they thread the yarn through the thing, and that is what does that tension, and then they just knit, and they pull the yarn from through here from the ball. I have tried that way as well, to try and do continental, because that's sort of continental with an added twist. I mean, I've tried continental quite a few different ways, and English knitting is just quicker for me and easier for me, because that's just how I learned. It's like when you learn to ride a bike. Not that I ever learned to ride a bike. I never learned to ride a bike, honest. But if you learnt to ride a two-wheeler bike, and then someone gave you a unicycle and said, there you go, off to school, you'd go, what are you talking about? Oh, you'll adjust, off you go, it's quicker, it'll get you there faster, and it's more fun. You would say, no, I think I'll take my two-wheeler. So to me, that's what it's like when someone comes up to me and says, you should knit continental. They may as well be giving me a unicycle and saying, here, this will get you to school quicker, or to work quicker, or whatever the case may be. It's ludicrous, you know, I mean, and it's assuming that people haven't ever tried. So you'll never get me telling people how to knit or how to crochet. Yeah. Arm knitting, no, oh, this might be a little bit controversial. And I'm going to preface this by saying, if you make these and you sell these by the millions and you're making good money, keep making them, keep selling them. Obviously, I'm not here to tell you that you shouldn't. I mean, I just told you, I don't tell people what to do. I just can't understand them. I can't not wrap my head around why people make these things the way they make them. And once again, that's not an insult to the people who make them. That's probably more of an insult to me as to why I can't get it through my thick head as to what's so great about these things. What are these things? The lovey. I mean, people take the head of an amigurumi and put a washcloth around it and call it a lovey. And I don't get it. But I think that's been adapted from something I did quite understand and get from many, many, many years ago. I did see big, big baby blankets, you know, full-size baby blankets. And in one corner, they had a stuffed teddy bear head or whatever. They made a bit of sense. The kid can cuddle the teddy bear, the blanket can cover them up, and they can go for a nice sleep. You can't do that with a lovey. You can't drape yourself in a lovey blanket. It's not a blanket. It's a washcloth. So I don't understand loveys, and therefore you'll never see me make one on this channel, because I don't know, they just, yeah. You'll also, last year I did this a fair bit, but you won't see me pushing myself this year. That was one of my New Year's goals. I'm not going to push myself to do things that perhaps I'm not capable to finish or do in a time frame. So although I've got like this, and I say, okay, I'm going to do one of these a month, and I have done the first one in the month. I did it, I think I finished him in just a week. And I've got other projects that I'm doing every month. There's there's my socks, my knitted socks. One of my goals is to knit there's my foot, so you can see how this works. One of my goals is to knit a sock a month. I've had to unravel this. I've almost finished it and then lost the plot completely. So I restarted and made it smaller. I thought, no, I like ankle socks. They're quicker to make. They don't use as much yarn. And they're quicker to make. I've already said that. And I think more people use ankle socks these days. I don't see a lot of people going around with, you know, halfway up the calf socks anymore. Perhaps men in suits. Do men in suits wear them? If you're a man in a suit and you're watching this for whatever reason, can't be. Yeah, I won't go there. Let me know. Do you wear longer socks underneath your trousers? Inquiring minds must know. So, yeah. So I've got this sock a month. Well, 2 socks a month. A pair of socks. Not just one. Not just one. I want to end up with 12 pairs at the end of the year. An amigurumi a month. I was doing a yearly cow, which is interesting because Shannon from the Spoonie Stitchers said, no to yearly cows. And I've done this woman's yearly cows for 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24. I missed one of those years. I think it was 23. Anyway, I've done her yearly cows, and I was going to do it again this year. I got my black and my red yarn all ready because it's called Tunisian Black Work Mosaic in the round? No, it's not. It's back and forth. It's called Black Work anyway. Black Work Tunisian Mosaic. And so you do use black yarn. And I thought, no problem. I've got my big light here that comes down right over my work. I've got 2 neck lights because that way I can alternate. One can be charging while I'm using the other one. But I thought, I'll do the tester square. She had a tester square. Can you do the, you know, like, here's a tester square, go away and do it. So I couldn't do it. And what I actually did was I thought, I'm going to use 2 light colours because I want to make sure that I can actually do this. And if I can't do it with 2 light colours, then I'm never going to be able to do it anyway. So I tried 2 light colours, and although I knew where she wanted me to put my hook each time, I couldn't get my hook in there very easily, no matter how loose I made the work. I tried several times. In the end, I thought, no, I'm having trouble with light coloured yarn. I'm never going to be able to do this with dark yarn. And that was a year-long cowl. And the other issue with that year-long cowl that I was going to do, so I've got fibre on my nose. I hate it I hate it actually when I get fibre stuck in my glasses, you know, in here or somewhere in it. Anyway, sorry, I digress. Oh, there's no way I'm going to do this with black yarn. So, no, I decided. And that was every week. Once a week, every week, you're going to get it to do either a big square or two or three little squares. Because there was 25 large squares and 44 little squares, or 34. I can't remember. There was something like 77 squares of various sizes. And so there was one, you know, release every week. And I was going to do it. And because I did last year's, but I did stop mid last year because I just ran out of juice. The hexagons she had us making were too large. Had the hexagons been smaller, I might have persisted longer. But they were just so large, and that by the time, and you were doing it with a 4-ply, and by the time I sort of got like to row 15, which was half the width, half the rounds, I was like, oh, when's this gonna finish? So yeah, year-long cows I won't do unless it's something like, yeah, like I said before, this, where you can complete a bit. What else won't I do? There's not a lot really that I wouldn't do. Shannon was saying that she wouldn't do, or she won't do, things that are, well, she didn't use this word. I'm using this word on her behalf, vulgar. And I'm not bestowing that word on her, saying that's what she thinks of these things. That's my interpretation of what she thinks of these things. So don't go having a go at her, because that's my interpretation. She said body parts, body parts basically is what she said. Even so far as the what are they called? Knitted knockers? She didn't say knitted knockers, but she did say the body parts for ladies who have had a certain type of cancer. So I assumed that she was referring to those. She doesn't like to do, obviously, certain anatomy. And I understand that. Like there's a gnome that Lynette, I think it's Lynette, from the Charmed Granny? Charmed Granny, I think. She did a really cute little gnome, but when you take the hat off, it's not a head. And I really don't know how I feel about that, you know, to be perfectly honest. I didn't laugh. I didn't get, that's not right, you know, or anything like that. I was just like, meh. But then that might be more about the fact that I don't like gnomes. That's another thing you'll never see me make on this channel, a gnome. And why? I don't know. I just do not like them. I see people who have made them, and some of them look really great. I don't mind the Christmas ones so much. I don't mind the ones, there's a Norwegian version of them where they are quite tall hats and and they're knitted, and they've got like Fair Isle all up the hat and everything. They look okay. I don't mind them, but I still wouldn't actually ever make one. So that's another thing I would never make, is a gnome. So maybe that's why I don't like them. But, you know, she was also sort of saying, Shannon, that, you know, curse words. Now, I would never do curse word projects on the channel. But my kids have asked me to make things with curse words in them. And I haven't as yet, but I don't have an objection to doing that, because you know, I'm not wearing it. You know what I mean? It's not me wearing it. So, But I understand where Shannon's coming from, and I certainly understand why some people just don't like that sort of thing, and understand 100% and totally get it. And I also totally get why some people absolutely love it and think it's hilariously funny and fun and love to do all that sort of stuff. So this is not one of those videos that's saying, you know, once again, like I just said before, like I said at the beginning, I'm not here to tell you what you should and shouldn't do or how you should and shouldn't do stuff. I'm here just saying, you know, following on, really answering Shannon's video, which is hashtag fiber artist nopes 2025. So I'm going to put that hashtag actually in my title and in my description. And if you want to use it, and I'm actually going to do what Shannon did. Shannon tagged a few people, not me. Felt very insulted. Not really. I'm very easily, yeah, well, I am, I don't know. Depends what my mood is like. But yeah, I'm going to actually tag a few people to answer, you know, just to do a same sort of video. What will you never do on your channel? Or if you're not a content creator, in the comments, tell me what you would never do or never knit. What sort of things would you never knit? You know, I've seen some very... for the want of a better, rude things that I would never knit. Although, you know, a lot of the rude stuff that I see, I just go, you know, I really just, I think, yeah, okay, I can see why they've made it. And I can sort of see that other people would go, ah, it's hilarious, I think. You know, and as a gag gift or something like that. I tell you what I do like, and I would make on this channel, but I haven't yet, is, gosh, I am having a terrible day today with fibre. Really am, sorry. Or it might be cat fur. I did have my big fluffy boy up here before, and he's gone away again. And when he comes around, he's got this big, honestly, his tail's like that with fluff and gets in my face and, yeah. Oh, here he comes. No, he's going to go to the food first. Is the poops. You know, they, who did? Shannon. Not Shannon. Sunita made, like the swirly sort of poops that just look a little bit like the emoji on, you know, all your messengers and everything. And actually that emoji, I've got to tell everybody, I'm sorry, it's not poop. It's chocolate ice cream. Yes, it is. They've changed it to being poop, but it started off as chocolate ice cream. And there used to be a pink one for strawberry ice cream and a white one for vanilla ice cream and so on and so forth. It was never meant to be poop. But, you know, people... they adapt things, don't they? I would make that because I just think, you know, sometimes we all have poopy days. And I think it's just sort of, you know, perhaps if you're having a bit of a poopy day, it's nice to sort of have something to remind you that poop happens. It really does. And so, yeah, you might catch me making that. Not that I've got any plans to make that at this stage. But I've only planned out about the first 6 months of this year. What else won't I make? What else won't I do? I guess I would never tell you that, similarly to, you know, I would never tell you that you should knit or crochet a certain way. I would never tell you that you should or shouldn't buy certain things. I might say, for example, here we go. This is the best example I can come up with off the top of my head. This is a furls hook. It is a beautiful hook. All of the Furls hooks that I have seen, or most of them. This one is a metal one. It's nice and heavy. I don't mind the heaviness, but there's nowhere for my thumb to rest. And I actually had to put some sports tape on it just here because my eyes were so bad, I couldn't see where the hook was pointing. So I had to put a bit of sports tape here so that I knew that that was the front and that the hook was in line with that. And it also stopped my thumb from sliding down. So, would I tell people not to buy furls? Never in a million years. Because a lot of people love these and a lot of people use them daily and have no issue with them. Just because I had to have a bit of sports tape on it and, you know, to adjust it, to be able to use it, doesn't mean that I'm going to say you shouldn't use this. So, yeah, that's another thing I'm never going to, I mean, you know, I might say I prefer this over this. That's my opinion, once again. It's not something I'm telling you, you know, you shouldn't use yourself. You know, the only time I might say that is if there's some sort of, like the scam boxes, you know, have you got the, there's boxes that they sell of the granny squares. Yeah, you've seen those? One of them was a fake, and it wasn't very good apparently, and it didn't have details on it on how to do the squares, and it was definitely an inferior product. Well, yeah, I'd probably come on and say, hey, don't buy the fake, go for the original. Yes, it costs more, but at least you're getting what you're paying for. You're getting all the patterns, whereas with the fake one, they really just weren't giving you what, you know, the other box did. So, yeah, that would be the only time, is if there's a scam or some sort of fake thing out there that, whatever. So, yeah, that's probably about it, really, that I can come up with off the top of my head. So, go and have a look at Shannon's video. I'm going to link that in the description box because it's an interesting video. It's worth watching. And I'm going to tag some people in my video to also do a video of what they would never do on their channel. And let's see if they pick up the challenge. So, yeah, I'm going to go. Always remember to learn from the past, think about the future, but always live for today. Take care, everybody, and I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.